I'm normally very punctual, but I thought I'd leave a little bit of room for wiggle here today, seeing that this was Richard's last meeting. So at this time, I will call the regular meeting of the Beltrami County Board of Commissioners to order. It's January 7th, 2025, and it is 5:02. Please stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just a couple parting comments. I think this will just be maybe a little bit of an echo of what I mentioned at our last meeting. It's been an honor and a privilege to be the chair this last year. I've learned a lot, made a few mistakes, and hopefully have been forgiven for those. And I appreciate that. And if not, we'll work on that. But anyway, I do appreciate, we had some big projects that we worked through this last year, and I think we did them pretty well. So the jail project was huge, and I think we worked our way through that pretty well. The wage comp study and getting that put forth for the county, I think that was a huge deal. Just those two things alone were some pretty big heavy lifting. And so I want to thank all the commissioners for all the work that they did this past year. Appreciate that. And I especially want to thank Richard. You know, I don't know how many of you know, I spent 5 hours in a car with Richard once a month last year, going down to Alexandria for Prime West meetings. And I learned a lot. And I think along the way, Richard might have learned a few things too. You got that thing taken care of with the IRA, right? Okay, attaboy. All right. So we had a lot of discussions about a lot of different things, and I learned a lot from Richard, and I appreciate that. And I just want to thank Richard for all of his service to the county and to his wife, Vange, for all that she had to put up with while Richard was away doing all these things. And so, Vange, thank you for that. And Richard, thank you very much for your past service. Tom?
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Richard, would you mind joining me up here? It's going to be hard to say goodbye, but we wanted to say a few kind words about you. You don't get many kind words from that chair. You see, but it has been an honor serving with you, and I'm very grateful for the time that you spent with the county board. We're going to miss you greatly. I want to say a few words about Commissioner Anderson. You know, he's leaving us after a long and successful career with the county. He started his professional career as a 6th grade teacher in Minneapolis, and then spent over a year after that serving in Vietnam in the 25th Infantry. When he came back to Minnesota, he served the Bemidji School District as a teacher in Palm Bay and Bemidji Middle Schools. Then he served as a principal at Lincoln Elementary and also Bemidji High School, finally retiring in 2009. And I'm sure your wife encouraged you to get out of the house, because it wasn't too long after that he joined the commission. He joined the commission as a commissioner in 2011 after the unfortunate passing of Jim Peltzer, if anyone was around and remember that. Commissioner Anderson was elected by special election that November, and he was sworn in 6 days later at the November 15th, 2011 meeting. Of interest, not many of you may know this, but Commissioner Anderson's opposition in that special election was none other than Commissioner-elect Scott Winger, who will be replacing him here in just a few minutes. So that was kind of an interesting thing to learn as well. Nevertheless, Commissioner Anderson served District 3, which represents Western Beltrami County, Southwestern Beltrami County. He was integral in serving on nearly 24 different committees and commissions, some ad hoc, some formalized, and of course that doesn't really count the assignments he had that were outside of the county as well, that benefited the county. He's always been thoughtful and considerate, and he's represented the county's constituents with professionalism and integrity always. I have very much valued the counsel, the support, and the guidance by Commissioner Anderson. I'm so appreciative that I had an opportunity for this many years to serve with you, and appreciate so much that you have done for the county. It's going to be sad to miss you. He is leaving us He's leaving us with 13 years of service to the county. And so with that, we do kind of this ceremonial thing where we actually take his nameplate and give it to him as his final gesture here. It's not much, but it's something that has been on your dais for 13 years or so. So we appreciate that. And then we have one that's actually a little bit nicer that has your years of service and that on here that hopefully you'll remember us kindly in regards to your service with the county. We're so grateful and appreciative of all that you've done for us here too. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Thank you. And now, Mr. Chair, if I could have the floor.
One more thing, I'm just because I knew I was going to forget this and I almost did, but I want to make sure I make this announcement at the board meeting. I made this announcement at the work session. It was nice of two former commissioners to join us today, Steve Booth and Keith Winger, past county commissioners. So thanks for joining us today. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, it's all yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At this time, because each of you were elected this year, we'll have to swear all of you in. And we have asked our newest judge to join us, Maddie Adams, and she's here to swear you in. And we have no particular order here, so we always get judged for the order, but there's no particular order. So Commissioner Carlson, I do believe you are up first. And if you will join us up here, we'll go ahead and get you sworn in. Yeah, I think if you want to take this one and then he can have that one and you.
All right. Very good. Hello.
Glasses.
No, you just have to be able to repeat after me. Okay, raise your right hand, please, and repeat after me. I, John Carlson,
I, John Carlson,
do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and that I will faithfully and impartially
execute and discharge the duties
execute and discharge the duties
of the office of Commissioner in Beltrami County,
of the Office of Commissioner in Beltrami County,
to which I have been elected according to law
to which I have been elected according to law,
and to the best of my ability, so help me God.
and to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Congratulations, Commissioner.
Thank you.
I'll let you take those with you. Scott Winger. Oh, you're sneaking up on me. All right, if you'd raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Scott Winger,
I, Scott Winger,
do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
that I will
support
support
The
the
Con-
Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and that I will faithfully
and that I will faithfully
and impartially
and impartially
execute and discharge
execute and discharge
the duties of the office of Commissioner
the duties of the Office of Commissioner
in Beltrami County,
in Beltrami County,
to which I have been elected
to which I have been elected
according to law,
according to law,
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Congratulations, Commissioner.
Thank you.
And I'll give these to him. So Walt. You would raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Joe Gould,
I, Joe Gould,
do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
to support the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
execute and discharge
execute and discharge
the duties of the office of Commissioner in Beltrami County,
the duties
of the
of
office
the Office of Commissioner of Beltrami County,
to which I have been elected
to which I have been elected
according to law and to the best of my ability,
according to law and the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Commissioner.
Thank you, Judge.
Craig Gosvig. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes, sure.
Excellent. I, Craig Gosvig,
I, Craig Gosvig,
do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States, for the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and that I will faithfully
and that I will faithfully
and impartially
and impartially
execute and discharge
execute and discharge
the duties of the Office of Commissioner
the duties of the Office of Commissioner
in Beltrami County,
in Beltrami County,
to which I have been elected,
to which I have been elected,
to the best of my ability and according to law.
to the best of my ability and according to the law.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
There you go, Commissioner.
Thank you.
And Mr. Sumner. Good evening. I, Tim Sumner,
I, Tim Sumner,
do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and that I will faithfully
and I will faithfully
and impartially
and impartially
execute and discharge
execute and discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Commissioner of Beltrami County,
of Commissioner of Beltrami County,
to which I have been elected
to which I have been elected
according to law and to the best of my ability.
according to law and the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Commissioner. Right. Thank you very much for having me. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
We'll be pausing for just a moment so we can get all of our paperwork taken care of before we move on. Okay, so as it has been the tradition in Beltrami County, the board chair has been on a rotating basis. Unless there's any opposition to that, I would entertain a motion to for the board chair to be Craig Gosvig and the vice chair to be Commissioner Joe Gould. Can I entertain a motion for that?
Mr. Chair, I would like to respectfully decline the offer of vice chair this year. I don't mind kicking that can down one more year. I'm happy to do it next year. But I just with time management, still working full-time during the day, I'm not super flexible during normal business hours where, if the chair or vice chair is needed during the day. And that is if somebody is willing to take on the vice chair this year, such as possibly our newest commissioner, Scott Winger, if he was interested. I don't know if he is, I haven't talked to him about it at all, but if he was interested in being vice chair, I don't have a problem with that. I know you were vice chair, your first year as commissioner, and I know there's not, I know it's not super difficult, I'm not worried about that, but if Commissioner Winger was interested, that would be fine with me too. So I'm just throwing that out there.
So then maybe if you would like to make a motion to nominate Commissioner Gosvig as chair, and we'll just let it go at that for now, and then we'll go after the vice chair. Would you like to do that?
Sure, I'll make that motion.
So Commissioner Gould makes the motion to nominate Commissioner Gosvig as chair for next year. Is there a second to that?
A second.
New commissioner. Winger has seconded that for the 2025 year. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, so Commissioner Gosvig, you are the chair, and I think you get to preside over who's going to be vice chair.
Thank you, outgoing Commissioner Carlson. I'd just like to say that you did a great job as chair this past year and appreciate you being on the board. And also welcome to newly elected Commissioner Winger. So at this time, I'd like to entertain a motion for a vice chair and whoever that may want to be, if you want to make a motion and that Commissioner Gould, since you're wanting to potentially pass that down the road a little bit.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to have Commissioner Winger be the vice chair for 2025.
Do I hear a second to that?
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second, Commissioner Gould and Carlson. Further discussion?
Mr. Chair. So, does that, we have a rotation, does the rotation, will that continue? Or how will Commissioner Gould's, vice chair this year affect that rotation?
Yeah, I would think that we would have to address that on a year by year basis. I mean, it would certainly still rotate in my thoughts, but that's really up to the board. There is no rule that says we have to rotate either, but there had to have been something like this in the past, I think, because right now the rotation was 1, 2, District 1, District 2, and then it went to District 4 with you, and then to District 3, and then District 5. So it was out of sync the way it was currently anyway. So this will just make it a little more out of sync. So if Commissioner Winger is okay with being the vice chair this year, do you have any issues with that? So you're accepting that nomination? Okay, so any further discussion?
Just a point that we need to give to Commissioner Winger, that he has to understand that he's the keeper of the agenda. So that's sometimes a tough job, so.
So we can coach him on that, I think. So any further discussion about the nomination for vice chair being Commissioner Winger? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor of Commissioner Winger being the vice chair for 2025, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries 5-0. Thank you all, and thank you for the chair position for this year. We do a rotate of chair positions here. Normally we just kind of shuffle, don't we? So if Tim goes down to the end and Joe moves here or whatever.
We're gonna have to have your.
Well, yeah, we should have Scott nearby me though, so. Yeah, so, actually we should probably, have Scott sit here. Okay. Yeah, wherever.
Joe, do you have a preference? Whichever spot you want us. I don't care. That's what I'm with. Okay.
John, did you want to say any last goodbyes to your gavel or?
Choke my.
We all good? Great. Thank you, Commissioner Carlson. All right, let's move on to item 4 of the agenda, citizens addressing the board. Beltrami County makes a point of providing the opportunity for citizens to address the county board. A citizen may address the board in person or via Zoom, and anyone wishing to address the board on an item not on the agenda may come forward at this time to be recognized by me. Please state your name and address for the record. Comments are limited to 5 minutes. A personnel complaint against an individual county employee may not be heard initially at a board meeting. Personnel complaints may be submitted to the board in writing through the county administrator's office. A person addressing the board may not use profanity or vulgar language. Is there anybody that would wish to come to address the board right now? Seeing none, we will move on. We look for a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Mr. Chair, I'll give Vice Chair Winger a break today because he doesn't know that. Normally, this would be your job, Scott.
Yeah.
But I would move that we approve the agenda as amended by moving item 7E from the consent agenda to 12A on the regular agenda.
Thank you, Commissioner Carlson. Do I hear a second to that?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Gould. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the approving the revised agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. For a motion to approve the amended consent agenda,
Mr. Chair, I would move that we approve the consent agenda as listed with the exception of 7E having been moved to the regular agenda.
thank you, Commissioner Carlson. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Commissioner Gould. Any further discussion on the consent agenda? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. On to the regular agenda. Up first, we have a classification of tax force fitted parcels. And I'm not sure if Shane is, there he is. Shane, if you'd come up and present to us, that'd be great. I think you've got a PowerPoint. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, thank you, commissioners. And I am Shane Foley, the Director of Natural Resources Management Department. And I just have a real quick PowerPoint here. All of what is in this PowerPoint has already been discussed by the Land Review Committee 3 weeks ago or so. And so it's just kind of a summary of that so that there could be a little board action on it. But, oh, here's the clicker. So we're going to talk about the classification of tax forfeited parcels. Just a quick little background. We're going to be talking specifically about parcels that were forfeited in 2016 to 2023, and then 2 additional parcels in Northern Township. So all tax forfeited parcels in preparation for sale have to be classified as conservation or non-conservation land. And we have a pretty strong feeling about what conservation means. And in this reference, it doesn't mean anything that has special ecological value or anything like that. It really is, does the county feel it's more important to hold on to this parcel, or it's more important to get rid of this parcel? A conservation parcel would be one that the county opts to keep. Non-conservation parcel would be one that the county is opting to get back out of the tax rolls. So Minnesota Statute 282.01 governs this classification. And just so you have an idea of what the Land Committee during their review is looking at, it's these guidelines of, does the parcel facilitate transportation, roads, drainage, education, recreation, some of those things, facilitate a reduction of government expenditures, conserve and develop natural resources, or foster agricultural and other industries. And this is where the committee had to look at those and say, does it meet these goals better in public hands or in private hands? And so that's really what we were doing. So I'm going to run through quick the parcels. If you want to have any discussion about any of them, we certainly can, but since it's, you guys have seen them before and the Land Review Committee saw them, I'll just kind of shoot through them pretty quick. But so parcels recommended as conservation, ones that the committee said are better off to be sitting in county hands for the future. There's a parcel of 12 acres in Hagley Township. It connects in with a bunch of state and trust land that we already manage for forestry just to the south. So it seemed like a no-brainer to add to our forest management portfolio. Nebish Township, there's a 10-acre parcel. Again, it connects in and gives access to a couple other Beltrami County parcels right off of a main road there. So this is another one that seemed like a really good fit to stay in county hands. There's a parcel in Sugarbush Township that is 100% cattail and river. It's surrounded by either federal land or state land. And this is one that the county doesn't necessarily have any plans for outside of that. It may be better suited to do a parcel swap or something like that with either the federal government or the state government. And so we opted to hold on to it and call this one conservation land for that purpose. There's a 1-acre parcel in Roosevelt Township that for highway department purposes and preservation of the road, it's at an intersection with a real steep slope and it's got a pond basin in the bottom of it where water can kind of collect and stay off of the road. So the highway department really wanted to keep this one. In Summit Township, there's a 1 acre parcel that's just a weird, one of these weird lots that you wonder how it ever happened. But it's almost 100% within the road right away of that county road there. And so the highway department wants to hold on to this one as well, just for preservation of the ditch and all of that stuff. And there's really no other use for it. And then the final one's the city of Ten Strike. There's a 1 acre parcel that's just east of Gull Lake. It's 100% wetland. And the reason for holding on to this one is since it's an undevelopable lot, is going to kind of save the county money, which is one of the criteria by holding on to it, preventing the possibility of it being developed or tried to be developed in the future, where there really is no development possible. So then moving on to the parcels that would be recommended as non-conservation land, and these ones that the county would be interested in divesting of. Eccles Township, there's a 3 acre platted lot that operates as a settling basin, a runoff storage area that Eccles Township wasn't interested in the past in holding on to at the township level. And so because of the Supreme Court settlement process, this is one that'll have to be sold. And Eccles Township, I went to their meeting, we talked about it. I also informed the board chair after the land committee had made their recommendation that was going to be the recommendation coming before the board. Hornet Township is a 4 acre parcel. It's just northeast of Black Duck a little ways. It has a house on it, clearly one that's going to be better in the tax rolls. Then these are the 2 parcels that aren't part of the 2016 to 2023 grouping of properties. And this is the Northern Township, 78 acres between these 2 parcels that's being evaluated for septic treatment system for Northern Township. And so in order to provide the opportunity for sale of this parcel and to kind of keep that moving, this will have to be classified as non-conservation land and then reviewed by the DNR. And so this is just kind of the step towards that process, or in that process. Northern Township, there's a 1 acre parcel. That's the same as the Eccles parcel where this was platted as a sediment basin. Northern Township wasn't interested in keeping this one. They've also been informed of the recommendation of the land committee. Shotley Township, there's a 1 acre parcel that provides access to Upper Red Lake. And so this is one of those parcels where certainly this is a conservation parcel. It's got lakeshore protection things involved, but it's not near any of our land that we manage and probably is better off in the tax rolls. And then Waskish Township, there's a 4 acre parcel just outside of town that has a house on it as well. That'd be a good one to sell. So that's all I have. And if there's any discussion about it, like I said, we can. But the only action item I need from you guys, if you're willing, is to approve a motion supporting the Land Reviews Committee's classification recommendations for these tax parcels that are listed below. And so I have the conservation parcels on the left side and the non-conservation parcels on the right side. So that'd be it.
I have one question. I got a call from somebody today that lives in Maple Ridge. Yeah, they're in Maple Ridge Township.
Okay.
Said they've been working with you on a piece of property for sale. Stefani,
Oh, yeah, that would be,
that's a separate,
it's a parcel that's not included in this
Okay.
one. Yep.
thank you.
Yep.
Thanks for the presentation, Shane. At this time, I entertain a motion to approve the Land Reviews Committee of the classification of these properties.
Mr. Chair, I make that motion.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Carlson. I hear a second.
I'll second it.
Second by Commissioner Winger. Any further discussion or questions for Shane? Hearing none, all in favor of supporting this, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. Motion carried.
Thank you, guys.
All right, we'll move on to item number 9, 2025 Commissioner Committee assignments. Have some lists in our packets and with some of the suggestions that we had talked about in the past, but we wanted to delay this until Commissioner Winger was seated on the board. And that's so at this time, I don't know, do you want to go by one by one by district here? Do we have any thoughts on how you guys want to address this? I'll just go that route then. I'll start since mine's the first one. I would like to give the alternate for the Concon Pilt. And that partially could be determined by what Commissioner Gould wants to do with, I believe you, let's see here, no, Commissioner Carlson currently has a delegate designation for the Concon Pilt, which I would assume that he's willing to give up. I was thinking that, and it was put on our thing that Commissioner Gould might want to be the alternate for that. Would that be, you would be accepting of being the alternate on the Concon Pilt? So I would remove that from mine and put that in Commissioner Gould as the alternate on the Concon Pilt Committee. I would, with the background that Commissioner Winger has, I had said that I would move the County Public Defender Committee delegation or designation from me to you. Is that okay? Okay, so I would make, change my delegate for County Public Defender Committee to District 3 instead of mine. Kitchigami Regional Library Board, I am currently the alternate on that. I would move the alternate on that to Commissioner Winger if he would accept that. The delegate would remain as Commissioner Gould, just in case he wasn't able to make it, you'd just be the designated alternate. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. The Northwest Regional Radio Board, I would make you the delegate on that board. And we had talked about that. So Commissioner Winger would be the delegate on that. And if Commissioner Carlson wants to remain the alternate on that for the radio board.
That's fine, Mr. Chair. Just thinking that with your experience on that, if you wanted to maintain the alternate, no.
It's just that it competes all the time with
All the
those
time.
other, that's why,
No, that's,
because of Polk County Solid Waste meets at the same time and the Black Duck, Development Corporation meets the same date and time. So I just have too many conflicts.
no, that's fine. I've done it a few times. so
Yeah,
no.
so I thought hopefully Commissioner Winger will be able to be there most of the time and that's, but since you had a few meetings there, you would have a little knowledge there. And then I would like to get one or both from Commissioner Winger of the negotiations committee or the personnel committee, whichever of those or both, if you, well, if so, I would be the delegate for negotiations and personnel unless Commissioner Carlson had a desire for, or one of the other commissioners had a desire for one of those. That's what I would.
I would also be interested in, isn't there 2 for negotiations?
I don't think so. No,
Oh,
only one. Yep. I have from another board that I'm on, I do have some negotiation experience I'm actually going through right now again. So I'll go ahead and take both of those then if that's all right. And that's mine. Commissioner Gould, you had a lot of the ones that Commissioner Sumner had. So you want to go through and let us know what you would be willing to
right.
do?
Association Minnesota County is Beltrami HRA still by cap. Greater Bemidji alternate. Hope House Board still, Housing Trust Fund, yes. JL, it's kind of evolving. Joint Powers Board still. Chigami Land Review Committee. Law Library Board. MRC. Oh, Northwest Juvenile Center Board, that was one that Commissioner Anderson and Tim Sumner had. And then I took over
You took
Tim's
over for
spot.
Tim, yeah, so I was wondering if you wanted to give that back to Tim or if he wants it back.
I'd be interested to hang on to it still unless he wants it back. But I think there are two commissioner spots for that one, correct? Maybe him and I
Yes,
could.
there are two, but Commissioner Winger has the other one right now
Oh,
and
Right.
stuff, so it's up, and
wanna
so
keep
up to
that,
you, Commissioner,
Scott?
the Juvenile Center Board. And then also while we're doing that, I was the alternate for the Concon. Are you okay with taking the alternate on the Concon? I think you said you were, and that's, so if we can make a note of that.
Yeah, I'll be alternate for Concon. That's
Okay.
fine. I've been doing the Northwest Juvenile Board for the past 6 months or so, along with Commissioner Anderson, and I have enjoyed it, and I have toured the place and gotten to know the staff and board members, and it's kind of in my wheelhouse already as a teacher, with youth and a school there.
You've been able to make those, even though they're during the day, you've been able to make those meetings?
Yeah, I can zoom into them because it works well with my break at school,
Oh,
so,
okay.
yeah, it's good timing,
So
actually.
that's up to you and
But I'd like to know Commissioner Winger and Sumner's
Commissioner
thoughts.
Winger, Summer, whichever one.
Mr. Chair, I'm concerned that we're skipping over and not giving Commissioner Sumner a chance to get back in. He wants to get back in, and I'd sure like to see him get back in.
That's
and help.
that's why I brought that
Yeah,
up about
that-
that being formerly Commissioner Sumner's and,
Well, that's what I
and
was
then
gonna-
the next one, the opioid settlement used to be Commissioner Sumner's as well, and they're on yours, so it's up to you to discuss, and up to Commissioner Sumner if he wants those back or not, and whether you're willing to convert them back to him or not.
Yeah, I would like to see Tim and I be on there, but, it depends on what Commissioner Winger feels as well, so. I'd like to hear from both of them.
Mr. Chair, I guess, first I want to say thank you guys for attending the meetings, in my absence of my participation in the committee assignments. And I think one thing that I've heard the past few months from a few folks in my district is they were concerned about being represented on some of these committees. So I did mention, the past few months in November, December, that it was my intention to retain my committee assignments, which include the Northwest Juvenile Center Board, the PILT Concon Board, the Black Duck Ambulance Board, are a few that I'm more interested in than what was on my list at the beginning of 2024. So I would like to retain those, and I know that there has been some interest in these boards. I guess in particular the Black Duck Ambulance. I know, and I believe most of us are well aware that the individual that was running for this seat expressed interest in that as well, and there was concern from my constituents up there that they weren't represented. So that is why I would like to, retain the Black Duck Ambulance committee assignment. It is well within my district. It is part of my district, so I guess my wishes would be to retain the Black Duck Ambulance, PILT Concon, and the ditch committee. So just prior to what I was participating in before I stepped aside temporarily last year.
Mr. Chair, maybe before I go on with the rest of my list here, I would like to know from Commissioner Sumner if there's any committees that he doesn't want to serve on anymore that he was serving on in the past, or if there's any other committees that he is interested in serving on that he wasn't on before.
Well, Yes, but I mean, like I mentioned, I mean, if I'm fine with the Pilt Con, Black Duck Ambulance, ditch, mainly the ones that are really in my district. Um, has my interest, if folks want the Northwest, that's fine. Although I know that, uh, the high rate of the American Indian juveniles in Northwest, is really, an interest to me as well. So, I know that was, um, brought up and my community was wanting to ensure that, there's representation, from our community on the Northwest Board, but, I'm trying to look for my list.
Look, Mr. Chair,
Yep.
so Commissioner Sumner, hasn't it been a scheduling problem in the past between the Northwest Minnesota Foundation and the Black Duck Ambulance?
Northwest Juvenile Center.
I'm sorry, yeah, the Northwest Juvenile Center. So that's been kind of a sticky point, kind of like Commissioner Gosvick had that problem with Northwest Communication and a couple other solid waste or whatever. If that would continue to be an issue, I think it would be good to pick one or the other that you
Well,
knew
and,
that
and
would.
talking with, Molly at the Black Duck Ambulance, I mean, she had no issue and understood. So, no, I don't see an issue, I guess, it would be, I mean, it would be, I think it worked out fine, I mean, I know that, commissioners may felt that it wasn't, that I was, I should pick one or the other, but, I have a responsibility, to represent my district. And these committees are, in my district, so.
Yeah, I just was wondering about the scheduling conflict, if they were at the same
Well,
time.
and I heard no concerns or complaints, from the Black Duck Ambulance Committee or the manager, so I didn't know that was an issue. It was
Well,
just-
But I think you might have missed my point. My point is, if they're both scheduled at the same time, it doesn't seem fair to be the delegate to both if you have to constantly pick one or the other, and then an alternate has to come in. That's my point.
Hmm.
And maybe that scheduling conflict doesn't exist anymore, but if it does, I think it would be best for representation from the commission to make sure that you pick one or the other if there's still going to be, because otherwise we're constantly having an alternate sit in, and I don't think that's fair for representation.
And over the last, timeframe, almost 2/3 of a year at least, that you haven't been attending Black Duck Ambulance. We have had a lot of things going on and that I have been just attending both meetings. I was on one, you were on the other. I've been attending both. It's less expensive and more efficient to just have one person do both of them since they are back to back when they do meet. And then you wouldn't have the conflict if you took the juvenile center back. And so I would recommend that I would just keep the Black Duck Ambulance boards and you would take the Northwest Juvenile Center board, you and Commissioner Gould, if he wants to retain that, since Commissioner Winger is okay with giving that up.
Well, let's agree to disagree on the Black Duck Ambulance. It's something that I would much, rather participate.
You could be the alternate for it.
It's in my district and.
Oh, it's in my district as well. Yeah.
Black Duck, I mean, that is in my district and, the person that ran, how much he wanted that too. So I mean, I would like the same opportunity, to retain that, committee, so.
Well, you're not really retaining anything because you gave up everything. And so this is as if you were a new commissioner starting over,
I'm gonna
in my
stick with,
opinion.
Black Duck Ambulance, so
What's that?
I'm gonna stick with Black Duck Ambulance.
You can be the alternate for it.
I'll be the-
So, I mean, and I'm the delegate to it as for both of them right now. And I've been the one that's been attending every month. So I'm going to retain it. The board, I asked the boards
So
and
are
they
you
want to
are you
retain me as
willing
the person.
Are you willing to let my constituents know that, their commissioner is not gonna be on the Black Duck Ambulance, because it's something that you want?
I've been the one that's actually been carrying the water for it for the last 8 months and I will
Okay,
continue
well,
to.
if you want to take that, let me take the planning commission.
Why is this
Well, I mean, why can't I ask for something?
at this point, you gave up everything, so it's a
Well,
matter of
it's a
what,
new-
what
it's
people
a-
are willing to give.
It's a new
Give up.
year, it's a new year, and I mentioned, that I will be participating in my committee assignment, so.
So let's continue on, Commissioner Gould, with finishing off yours, and we'll see where the chips fall when we're done here. So the Juvenile Center Board, you're going to retain that, and Commissioner Winger, you are going to give that to Commissioner Sumner if he's wanting to accept that. So let's move the delegate from there to there, so you'll retain that delegate spot. Opioid settlement, do you want to retain that, or are you going to?
No, Tim can have that back if he wants that back.
Okay, so that would go from District 3 to District 2 to District 4, the delegate. How about the SHAC, the State Community Health Services?
Tim, what's your preference on, do you want that one back or
It's up to you.
I'll hang on to it? I've been diving deep on those issues the last 6 months, so.
Okay.
Happy to keep that going.
Anything else that you had questions or concerns on, Commissioner Gould?
No, I don't believe so.
Mr. Chair, I just was
Yep.
going to ask Commissioner Gould if, I know you weren't able to make the last land commission meeting and I filled in for you. I'm just wondering if,
Land Review Board?
or the land review board, if that's a problem. I mean, I know they only meet every once in a great while. I'm happy to do it if that would, if that would help your schedule.
Yeah, that would be great, actually.
So
Okay, so
Land Review Committee would go from District 2 to District 5
right.
because we have 2 delegates there. Commissioner Winger and Commissioner Carlson would be the delegates for the Land Review Committee.
Yep.
Okay,
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
yep. Move on to,
Also, I'm sorry, Mr.
Yep.
Chair.
okay,
I noticed that on the Minnesota Rural County one, I actually probably attended more of the meetings than Commissioner Gould did, just because I'm more available than he is. So I didn't know if you wanted to be alternate, and I'm okay either way, but I ended up being at a lot of them.
is it an alternate and delegate?
Ones, which are, there's at least 2.
Yeah, I was at 3 in-person ones, yeah.
Yes. There was personal conflict in that summer in-person one, which normally summer's no problem. I can make that. The in-person ones are difficult, but the Monday mornings over Zoom are no problem. So if you want to keep being the delegate and just go to the in-person ones.
But, and that's fine. I just know that from my personal standpoint of having been on committees, you're just not as effective on a Zoom call as you are when you're in person. I just know
Most
that.
of those meetings are on Zoom. There's just.
Well, I know that
2 or 3
yeah,
that are in person.
right, but all the ones that were in person, then I'm the one. So that it just, what I'm looking at is consistency of our representation.
Did we have that as, we only had that as delegate, I think. We didn't have an alternate listed, did we?
Well, we should.
I don't think I don't see Commissioner Carlson having that on his list
Oh,
right
we
now.
probably didn't do an alternate.
Yeah, so we probably should.
Yeah.
So who's gonna be delegate? Who's gonna be alternate for that one?
I would like to still be the delegate. I can make, all but 2 of the meetings a year, so.
That's fine.
So Commissioner Gould will retain the delegate spot on the Minnesota Rural Counties, and we'll add on District 5, Minnesota Rural Counties alternate for District 5. MRC alternate. Okay. On to Commissioner Wingers. So, everything on the top part here, Commissioner Winger, are you, okay, can you go to the District 3?
There we go. Thank you.
Okay, so are you okay, or do you want to retain the, behavioral health, Basque, BICAP, all those, or are there any there that you don't want? going down the list?
No, I don't see anything.
Did we keep? Yeah, we kept you on the land review and we just moved the delegate, from District 2 to District 5 there. And we moved the delegate from negotiations mediation from you to me. Northwest Juvenile Center Board, it sounds like we're moving that from you to District 4, correct? And then moving the Personnel Committee from you to me for the delegate there. Prime Health Board, I know there's some discussion and there's this thing on Commissioner Carlson's there. You want to weigh in on that? Commissioner Carlson, did you want to be delegate on both of those?
Yeah.
Prime West and Prime Health?
Definitely Prime West,
Right now, you're the alternate on that, so you want to be the delegate there? Okay, so you would be the alternate, or does
That's fine.
somebody else want to be the alternate? Oh, you want to be the alternate? Okay. And how about the Prime Health Board? Right now, you're the delegate on that. Do you want to retain that, or do you want to give that to?
might not be a bad idea to get to get Commissioner Winger in on that. That's, they only meet 3 times a year, so.
Quarterly.
If you would want to be that person, they do meet in Alexandria 3 times a year.
That's fine.
You want to be the delegate there? So basically swap the Prime Health and Prime West. So you guys will swap and you'll be the delegate for
Okay.
Prime Health instead of the alternate and vice versa.
Okay.
You'll be the alternate still then on that? For Prime Health?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Solid Waste Committee, Commissioner Anderson and I were on that. Do you want to retain that, or is that something that you?
That's fine. Unless Tim wants that. You good there? Okay.
Okay.
I'll keep that then.
And I had given you the County Public Defender Delegate and the Northwest Regional Radio Board and alternates position on the Kitchigami Library.
Okay.
Anything else that you saw for changes there, Commissioner Winger? All right. Commissioner Sumner, you've got the One Watershed, One Plan for the 2 areas in your district, the Red Lake and the Thief River Falls. The Concon Pilt from Commissioner Carlson, the delegation for that. The Northwest Juvenile Center delegation from Commissioner Winger. Opioid settlement, did you give that did he accept that? Yep.
I think so.
So the Opioid Settlement Committee from Commissioner Gould. Joint Powers National Resource Board, that was one that Commissioner Sumner had before and you have it now, Commissioner Gould. Is that one that you wanted to retain or not?
I've always been the delegate for that one.
Okay, that wasn't the way I had written it down, but,
Yeah, it's on.
Oh,
mine.
Previous years, former Commissioner Olson was the delegate to the JPB or JP Natural Resource Board, so.
okay, so let's keep it with Gould, okay. And then Shack, you were gonna retain Shack, okay, so. That's that. Go on to Commissioner Carlson.
Well, Mr. Chair, I don't
Yep.
think, as I mentioned, I would, retain the, Black Duck ambulance. And if you aren't, willing to, accept that, I would be willing to, try to negotiate some sort of, committee assignment, in exchange. I've always been under the impression and felt that the planning commission should be equally shared amongst, the entire county board as it does impact everybody. The board does review ordinances, that affect District 4, District 1. So, I mean, to me, it seems like it's something that we should, alternate or consider alternating on a more regular basis. And as I mentioned, Black Duck Ambulance is within my district, geographically. So to me, it just makes sense that, I am the delegate for Black Duck Ambulance. And if you aren't willing to do that, maybe the Joint Powers Board is something that you would be willing to um, give up so I can, at least have a committee that is really in my district. So that's my proposal.
The way we had it originally was that you were the Black Duck Ambulance Board member. I was the Joint Powers Board member for Black Duck. And I don't feel that is an efficient way to do it. But if you want to go back to doing it that way and just make sure that you communicate well with me, if you have a conflict with the Juvenile Center Board that I attend for you, I will be willing to do that.
That sounds like a good compromise, so.
Okay?
Yep.
All right. So we will have the Black Duck Ambulance Board will be Tim Sumner's as a delegate. And I will be the delegate for the Black Duck, or the Tri-County Ambulance Board, as we used to have it. Okay, on to Commissioner Carlson. We've got the delegate for the Concon being moved from yours to District 4. Anything prior to that, Commissioner Carlson? On the list?
No, I don't think so. I have the Airport Authority. Um,
And I've got down to
you're taking the Concon off, right? And that's,
yep,
Gone,
I'm moving
okay.
that to Commissioner Sumner
okay.
from you.
I am on the County Extension Committee and I'm perfectly willing to, if someone else wants to, Tim, if you have another committee that you'd like to add to your list, I would be happy to give that to you if you want that. They only meet once about every, is it every other month or?
It says quarterly on here. but
Yeah,
that may not
quarterly.
be
It's
accurate.
not very much. It's just, but that would help kind of take a little load off of me.
Yeah, I would be willing to do that as long as it doesn't conflict with other.
Typically, it's Monday mornings at 9:30. That sounds good. Okay, so we can, okay, so then
So move it.
extension goes to District 4.
Yep.
Land of the Dancing Sky, I guess maybe because I'm the oldest person on this board, maybe that's probably the one I need to stay with, I suppose. You laugh, you'll get there someday. I don't mind, they only meet like quarterly or whatever, but I usually try to attend those in person. But if anyone wants that, you're welcome.
And those are in Fargo, Moorhead?
They move around, sometimes their last one was in Crookston, the last one was.
I used to be on that at one point and we met here, we met Crookston all over the place.
Yeah, it's all over.
Oh.
It's probably appropriate. I do actually deliver Meals on Wheels and that's part of what we do. So we issue those contracts. So, all right, that's
Okay.
fine.
You're the alternate for the Joint Powers Natural Resource Board. Newsletter Committee.
Yeah, if someone else, and again, that was something that if someone wants to be on the newsletter committee, that I'm happy to stay on it, but I'm also happy to give that up if somebody wants it.
Anybody want?
What time, day?
Well, it varies, but it's a lot of times on well, it just varies. It does vary.
But it's during the day.
Yeah, usually in the mornings. Yeah. That's fine. I'll stay on it. That's okay. I'm the proofreader. I don't do much for content. I just proofread.
And we switched, we got you as the alternate on the Headwaters. I'm the delegate, you're the alternate.
Okay.
And the alternate on the Polk County Advisory Board and Prime Health, we made those switches, so you're the alternate on that, not the delegate. And the Prime West Health, you are now the delegate and Commissioner Winger is the alternate. And adding to your list, the Minnesota rural counties, you will be the designated alternate
Sure.
for the Minnesota rural counties. Did you have any other things that you needed to change there, or
think
we
so.
good? Diane, you got that messy stuff all down? All right. And so,
So, Mr. Chair, I move that we accept these roles of committee assignments as we just laid those out.
do I hear a second? Second by Commissioner Gould. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, that passes. Thank you. AMC appointments and delegates. We've got a sheet in our list here with the appointments for AMC. We will need to make a change on the vice chair from Joe Gould to Scott Winger. Any other changes? Is everybody else that's on here accepting of those assignments? And any changes that are requested there? No? Looking for a motion to approve the AMC appointments and delegates list with the amendment of the vice chair, 2025 vice chair for Beltrami County being Scott Winger.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Gould,
Second.
second by Commissioner Carlson. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Northern Township revised resolution of support. Do we have anybody speaking to that, or are we just, Minister Barry, do you want to review anything there, or do you want me to just, go for
I
it?
can speak to it if you'd like, or if you'd prefer, Mr. Chair, you're welcome to as well.
I think it's pretty straightforward. Basically, we did have a resolution a couple of years ago now. And now the plans have changed slightly, and so they're just looking for an updated resolution of support from the county based on their new plans and with the property that we just delisted, so to speak, as the non-conservation land east of Bemidji. And there is a typo or two on the resolution. Support has an extra O in it. It's support on the top there. And then whereas Lake Bemidji is an historic, I don't know, it seems odd. I would say Lake Bemidji is a historic and spiritual water body. And then down below, if you got state capitalized, I would assume we'd capitalize federal as well. But I'm a nitpicker on stuff like that. So anybody want to make a motion to approve the resolution of support for Northern Township?
Mr. Chair, I'll make that motion.
Commissioner Carlson makes a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gould. Any further discussion on the updated resolution of support? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. On to item 12A, which was originally 7E from the consent agenda. It's the Health and Human Services Approval of Housing Trust Fund Administration Contract and Report. And I believe Commissioner Gould pulled that because he sits on that committee and would like to address that. Go ahead, Commissioner Gould.
Yeah, certainly recommend reapproval. It's the annual approval that we need to do. We're in the start of a 5-year contract with United Way. Hopefully you got a chance to review the report and financials. Discussing with Ann Linseth, who also sits on the board, we've generally been impressed with United Way's handling of the contract and facilitation of the meetings. And, everything looks pretty kosher as far as the financials and annual report. I just did want to share that at the last meeting, we approved $49,500 for program aid related to housing, $34,500 to BICAP to support their supportive housing programs, and also $15,000 to St. Vincent de Paul for their housing program as well. So that's the update. Again, the recommendation is there to approve the contract, and I did talk to Ann and Attorney Hanson, and no issues. So there you go. Hope it's a 5-0 vote. So there you go.
Commissioner Carlson?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just, question for Commissioner Gould. I'm just curious, that last round that where they put out the bid or the RFPs, how did the RFP go? I just was curious.
Yeah, it went well. We got a handful of responses, 3 that qualified, or 3 that we scored that qualified for the scoring matrix. There was a application that we did not approve because the application was incomplete and lacking required materials and stuff, but they can try again and whatnot. So we had a scoring matrix. Everybody on the committee or cabinet scored the applicants, and we were pretty much in, there was a consensus to fund the 2 that I mentioned for program aid. What I forgot to mention was that the RFP is out now for construction projects. So that RFP is out. So please help spread the word to developers that there is money available to help with any construction of housing. So
Is there a dollar limit that they're constrained to ask for?
no, not necessarily. I mean, we have over $1 million in the fund right now. So they could ask, that would be the maximum that one entity could ask for. And so it's to be determined if we'll fund 1 or 2 or 3 projects. It has to be under $50,000 for the cabinet to approve. Anything more than that would have to come to our county board for approval.
Then thank you.
Commissioner Gould, do you want to make a motion to approve then?
Yes, so moved.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Second from Commissioner Carlson. Any further discussion or questions of Commissioner Gould? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Thank you, Commissioner Gould. And now we are on to legislative and lobbying issues. We'll start Commissioner Sumner. Yep, that or committee reports, either. Okay. Commissioner Winger is new. Commissioner Carlson.
Just a couple of things. I got the opportunity to attend the Polk Solid Waste Committee meeting as the alternate. And that was an eye opener. And thankfully, Brian Olson was gracious enough to let me ride along with him, and we went early. So I got a chance to take a tour of the facility. So I really got kind of a good indoctrination. So hopefully I'll be a good alternate in the future, but it's quite a big deal over there. It's
I'll quiz you. What's MRF stand for?
Murph. It was a something.
Material recycling facility.
There you go. That's what he said. But anyway, so that was nice, and I want to thank Brian for allowing me to do that. Got a chance to attend the Employee Service Awards, and so that was kind of nice. It was really fun, and the popcorn idea I think went over pretty good instead of melting ice cream bars, and so that was good, and great to see all the service awards going out. And then I attended a Greater Bemidji meeting, but otherwise it's been a real quiet couple of weeks.
Thank you, Commissioner Carlson. Commissioner Gould, do you have anything to report?
Yeah, similar, quiet couple of weeks. The Housing Trust Fund Cabinet was kind of my main update. I did attend a Hope House board meeting. They are actively recruiting board members. So applicants, please, if you're interested, you can contact Hope House. Let's see. Hope House board meeting last week, and BICAP's coming up later this week. That's it.
Thank you. And I had a couple, I was relatively quiet. December 18th, we had our airport authority meeting. John Knorr is gracious to accept another 3-year appointment there. which we approved. And we also approved the 4 areas of our strategic goals for the airport for growing and increasing everything in the region, maximizing our airport for the best of the community. And the next day I had the Black Duck Ambulance Board meeting, as well as in the evening, we had the Truth and Taxation meeting. So I was back to Black Duck again in the evening for that. We received a grant of just about $250,000 that Molly, our director there, applied for, and we're very fortunate to receive that. So we'll put that towards a new ambulance. So that was really a nice windfall for the Black Duck Ambulance Board. And that's that for my report, and everybody can look at where they're at for the next meetings. I'll have chat about tomorrow morning. We're doing the after meeting chat about starting this year. So I'll be doing chat about tomorrow morning, and the rest of you guys can check for management team and so on. I'll look for a motion to adjourn. Oh, yeah, Tim.
I know I was gonna mention this earlier, and, I know how much you and Commissioner Carlson really enjoy solid waste.
You're talking trash.
But AMC is forming a solid waste work group. And I know that this is an opportunity for either of you to potentially get involved with the solid waste. I mean, I listening to you guys and your commitment, your expertise on the issue. I think it would be beneficial, if either of you, considered joining that, because at the December AMC board meeting, they gave us some results for the survey that was given out at our district meetings, and solid waste was like one of the top issues, among the 10 districts within AMC. So, I mean, this is a good opportunity to, lobby the legislature, and really get involved, because I think this, this opportunity would be beneficial for AMC in the state.
So Commissioner Sumner, is that going to be a whole new policy committee then, or is that going to fall underneath one of these?
It would be a work group. So the way the work groups usually operate is they meet maybe bi-monthly, quarterly for a year, and then come back with the information that they gathered. So I don't know how long this is going to be,
Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
a question for Commissioner Sumner. Does it have to be a commissioner? I'm just thinking that our best representative for there would be
Right.
Brian Olson.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't have to be a commissioner, I would recommend that we authorize,
Administrator Barry. Yeah, go ahead,
Well-
Administrator Barry. Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was just going to let you know that I have forwarded that information a few weeks back to Brian Olson, and he said he was going to apply.
Oh, perfect.
So I know he's interested and is intending to be on that, but I wouldn't
Yep.
presume that would or should influence your desire to also be engaged on the work group as well.
Yeah. Well, thanks for bringing that up, Tim. And Brian is actually, Brian and then the solid waste administrator for Hubbard County have been the two that have, of the 9 counties, they are the two that have done the heavy lifting on the entire plan. So that would be real good to have him involved in it. And if possible, for one or both of us to attend on occasion, but having him be the lead would be our best foot forward. So
All right.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
Anything else to come before the commission for the night? Look for a motion to adjourn.
after congratulating our new commissioner, Scott Winger, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
Chair, is a motion to adjourn amendable? He's testing you.
Is that a second?
I'll second.
All right. Thank you. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right. We are adjourned.